Well, welcome back to YouTube. Another fun and exciting adventure. Ryan Homestead Projects. This particular episode, I'm going to walk you through a few things I've been doing. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video, but I have been very busy. I tried to take a break from the camera for a little bit to try to get caught up on some things that probably would bore you to death, but I've got quite a bit done. This particular episode, we're focusing on windows. So let's take a walk and see how this all works. Alright, well, the first thing that I want to share with you is, if you remember, I had that split face receptacle inside the back of the bus previously. Well, I finally mounted it where I wanted it and put it where I wanted it. I got it outside. I've got a waterproof cover on it. I've got butyl tape all around the back side of it to seal the water intrusion out of it. But there it is. So at this point, I plugged my pigtail in on the back. And I have 3 different outlets that I can use for power outside of the bus. So that's one of the things that I did. If we look up, you can see right there, I got my security cameras in. This one is focused on the back door. This one right here looks up the door side of the bus. And I've got one over there on the corner that looks up the driver's side of the bus. So I got my security system in. It's not working right now because I had to change my hotspot and they're not connected or online. Walking up a little bit, I want to show you the other camera that I put in up here. I've got one right there, and what that one does is that one actually monitors the front door for me. The system does work. I had everything connected to my old hotspot. I wasn't getting the bandwidth that I needed, and they kept dropping offline and stuff, so I changed out my hotspot and I haven't hooked them back up yet, so they're all offline. Unfortunately, the only way I can change the Wi-Fi on those is to do a factory reset. I do not like that feature, but that's the only way you can change the Wi-Fi input on them, is to factory reset them. So that's one of the other things that I did. Got my security camera in. I got a couple of more cameras. I'm going to have another camera up top on the roof, monitoring the roof as we're driving and stuff, and then I've got one for the inside that I'm going to use as well. So that's my security system. I'll go through the security system in another video in great detail and show you how it's all set up and what I did to get all that in, but right now I just wanted to show you that that's what I did. All right, well, the whole point to this video is windows. Look what I done got done, y'all. So this window right here is in my kitchen area. This window right here is my bathroom vanity area. And that window back there is the bedroom area. We're going to walk through the installation of the exact same window on the other side of the bus, and I'll show you how that all comes together. But that's 3 of the 9 windows. I don't know I'm going to get all 9 of them in this bus. But I'm going to work on it. I've got an extra window because the one that I originally had for right there wasn't going to work. It was going below the countertop level, so I had to get another window, and I'm going to show you some interesting facts about that window when we get to the inside. But I am going to put a window right here in this panel, and then I'm going to put an emergency exit in this panel. And I think if I can, the extra window that I have will go right there behind the exhaust stack right here. So all 3 of those will be will have windows in them, and this will stop looking like a prison bus and actually look like an RV again. That's what I've done. Those are the windows. I'm going to go through on the inside and show you exactly how it all came together, and we'll walk through the installation of one. All right, here is where we're going to be installing the other window that we have for the bedroom. If you see these screws that are going through the sheet metal, One of the things that I did when I put the window frame in, the frame is already in there on the inside. When I put the window frame in, I used clear silicone and silicone all the way around the frame. And then I came out here after I drilled pilot holes, put those screws in to pull that frame up against that metal nice and tight so that it would seal, so I wouldn't have to worry about any water intrusion. But I'll show you that in a little more detail. All right, well, here is my window in the vanity area. I've got my frame here, windows in, it's nice and tight and secure. Here is the retaining clamp that they have that goes on the outside. I've got these positively attached to the bus by going through the strapping material that I put in here so that they don't come out, they don't move, they don't do anything. The window frames themselves are 4 inches wide, and then I've got the binding wood right here that will match the actual window size. I had to customize these for some of the windows because they were different size. They're not all the same, they're not all from the same manufacturer, so as a result they're a little different. I'll show you a little bit more detail. So this was the first one that I put in. I did it first because it was small and easier to work with, so I could figure out the process and make sure that I got everything working. Cutting all this stuff out is no easy task, I'm not gonna lie. What I do is I come through, cut the inside out first on the wood, get all the insulation out of the way, cut it out, and then I use the template that they provide for the windows and put it in there and line it up, drill pilot holes through and go outside and match up those pilot holes and mark it and cut it. So that's the first one that I did. Let's go to the second one. So before we go to the second one, I do want to point out something very nice. 71.4 degrees inside the bus. Now, although it's not really hot right now, we've had some really cool days. My air conditioners have been on since the conclusion of my last episode. My cooling fans and my equipment cabinets have never ever kicked on since I turned those on, and it stays a constant 71, 72 degrees in here. I really like it. I did have to run my generator a couple of times because of the weather. Didn't get enough sun to recharge the batteries, but at this particular point in time, looking at it, you can see I've got plenty of battery life. They're at 100%. My solar yield is at about 600 watts, and my AC loads are less than that, so the batteries are always charging. Really like that. So let's go to the kitchen window. So there is the kitchen window, guys. I did have to replace it because it was the other one that I had went down below the countertop height here. I will tell you that if I put 3/4 in here, which I plan on doing anyway, this lines up exactly with the top of the countertop. I have to tell you, that was not by design. That was sheer luck and by accident, because one of the things that I have to do is I have to bring this up as high as I can, but I also need to make sure that the top cutout for the frame is below those drip ledges that are over the windows so that I can actually cut the metal. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to cut it out. So this is the second one I did. I had to do a little bit of work on it this morning to tidy it up, but this is the second one and it's in. And now let's go to the third one, and then I'll walk you through the process. Alright, here's the third one. This is the bedroom window. As you can see, it's pretty much the same. I've got my frame in, going all, and then I've got my clamp going in around and pulling the window up tight. Everything is nice and tight, nice and secure, and that's what it looks like with the window in. Let's go to the other side and I'll show you what it looks like without a window. Alright, there's what it looks like without a window. This is the outside sheet metal of the bus. It's 16 gauge galvanneal steel. So the next thing that I need to do is come in here, put this in, drill pilot holes at the center lines once I get it lined up, top, bottom, and the sides. Then I take this outside, line up the holes that I put through on the inside, mark the hole, drill me some access so that my jigsaw blade will go into the metal and start cutting. So now that you can see it a little better, one of the things that I do want to walk you through is the building of the frames. So these are the sides. So the first thing that I do when I'm building these frames is that I make sure that they're the right thickness for the window, and then I line up these by measuring the distance of the opening on the window, make them 1/4 of an inch longer than that so that I have room to manipulate the window inside and stuff. If there's any issues or anything like that, I have plenty of room. Once that's done, then I come across and measure to the outside of these and put my bottom and top in. One of the things that I like to do is I'm using these to support these, and I've got this one as a cap that goes over the top. I did that on the inside frame, which is my binding frame, and then I also did that on my dimensional frame. And my wall thickness from the back of the sheet metal to the front of the plywood is exactly 4 inches. So these were all ripped on my table saw to 4 inches. These were all cut based on the window, but typically it's 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. And everything is glued. Everything is pocket hole screws holding it in from the top side along the outside of the window. I painted all of these as well. I painted them black to match the windows, so that once they're in, you don't have unfinished wood showing through, and everything seems to match. So the only real challenge I have is these corners right here. They tend to show up. So after I cut everything out, I need to touch up the paint on the wood and stuff, and I come in here and spray those corners. I didn't do that on the first couple, but I will definitely do it on this one. As you can see, I've got this screwed in to the strapping so that it's positively secured. So now what we're going to do is go through lining this up, marking it, drilling the pilot holes, translating those to the outside of the bus, marking the cutout opening on the outside of the bus, and go to cutting, and then we'll get a window installed. Before we do that, one of the other things that I did want to share with you and show you is that I did actually come in here and do some more plywood installation, getting plywood in place in all the places. I did that so that I could finish out the top of the walls. I already have those cut. If you remember previous episode, we talked about that. They're already cut. I just need to mark them, cut them, and put them in. And that way I can close out the walls in here, because one of the first rooms that I want to try to finish out is this vanity room. I need to get my vanity and my shower completed so that I can terminate all those lines and actually do a pressure check on the water system from both my pump and shore water. So that's one of the things I've done. I would like to point out my driving camera system up there. You can see that that's on in the distance. I've had that running. I've had excuse me, I've had quite a bit running in here constantly. I'm using my dome lights for interior lighting all the time. All of that is running off of my house batteries, not my bus batteries, so I can leave all that stuff on. Everything charges. It's not drawing a lot of current. One of the things I did do yesterday as well is I did some cleanup work in here. I actually ran my vacuum cleaner off my 12-volt electrical system, pulled about 1,000 watts, worked just like a champ, never had an issue with it, didn't even phase the batteries in the time that I ran it, which wasn't very long, but it all worked. So I'm really focused on trying to get a lot of this stuff out of the way so that I can start doing some finish work. I want to get stuff out of the basement, but I also want to get it inside the bus and make this thing start looking finished. So now with that, let's go back. Oh, actually, before we do, one other thing that I did, I haven't quite finished it, but I do want to show you that I've used this stuff up right here so that I can close off and clean up and hide the actual feed through of the lines. It'll look like that when it's done. I just need to screw it down and secure it. Got one on the front as well, which is what reminded me of that. I did actually work my hoses or line sets into place. I created a disaster though because I wasn't paying attention, trying to manipulate those. Wasn't able to finish it, and they were pointing up in the air like this, and as a result it wasn't draining. So I came out the next day and this whole area was covered in water because it was basically coming out the bottom of the air conditioner onto the floor above. So I fixed that. I did put these pieces of plywood in. I had to do that to finish out the wall going to the back. You can see the drain. I've got everything back there going behind the plywood. It comes out down there at the bottom. There's my electrical wire for my outside unit, outside plug that I put right there. Same thing over here. Did the plywood and finished it up coming up here so that I could put the windows in. Now with that, let's go cut some holes. All right, so let's see if we can get this lined up and marked up and figure out where we're gonna have to put this on the outside. So bottom line is, as you can see, there is some room with this, and that is intentional. I just want to make sure that I split the difference. I do always try to go as low as possible for the reasons that I explained earlier, and think that is good shape. So all right, so now as you can see, well, I don't know if you can, let me move the camera. So as you can see, there's a little bitty marks right here where the drill hit the cardboard, which is good, because now what I do is I take this, go to the outside and put it against the sheet metal of the bus in the same orientation that it was on the inside, so that I can match up those holes and have a solid location for getting this thing marked up and drilled out. So let's go outside and we'll see what we can do. All right, so here I am on the outside. We're going to line this up and put those marks in. So I'll come up here and I put it on that one, put it on that one, line it up on that one. I am golden. I'm going to bring you in a little closer, as you can see. So there was one of the holes that we drilled. There's one of the holes that we drilled. There's one of the holes we drilled. And there's the other one. So they all line up. They all marry up. And I've got my template drawn. I need to put it back up here and make this line darker so that I have something that I can see to cut. I won't bore you with that, but I'll get that fixed. The next thing I'm going to do is come through and put pilot holes in the corners so that I can use a step bit, get them big enough so that the jigsaw blade will go in there, and we'll get to cutting. One of the things that I do want to point out as well is that I always start cutting at the top because this is much more solid and firm. Lesson learned on that one. I started cutting at the bottom because it was easy, and it was a nightmare cutting this across the top because this was shaking, flapping, and all kind of stuff, which is why I got these magnets right here, because I put them across the cut spots to keep that from happening as much. So all right, I'm going to fix this mark. I'm going to get some tools and I'll be right back. All right, everyone, we're ready to cut. And you can see I got a hole right here, I got a hole right there, right there, right there. I got one right there, right there, right there, right there. That gives me the ability to go from either direction, up or down. These are a little bit larger than I anticipated, because when I drilled my pilot holes for my step bit, I was a little bit too far away from the line, but doesn't matter. I got plenty of room. So I'm going to step this camera back, put it on time lapse, and I'll give you a rundown on exactly how long it takes to get this cut. Well, there's the hole, everybody. The window fits. I tested it. At this particular point, it's time to put some butyl tape on that window. Let this paint dry a little bit. It's not pretty, but I just wanted to cover up all those bare metal edges, the holes and all of that stuff, so that it don't rust. But touched up the wood where the blade got to it, and had a little bit of an accident there. The blade popped out and hit the metal, came off and hit my finger. That hurt. Had to go change the blade, and the blade that I have wasn't quite as long as the other one, so I had to manipulate a little bit, but got it all cut out. Total time to cut that hole was 20 minutes with replacing the blade, so not too bad. The one blade that I was using that bent worked really well. This was actually the fourth window that I've used that one blade on. The blade that I put in there, because I didn't have any more of those, it's dead after this one window, so not very good. But anyway, that's where we're at right now. I'll take you inside. I'll show you how I do the butyl tape, and we'll get ready to put this thing in. All right, well, there's the window. I am ready to put some butyl tape on it. I'm going to try to fix this camera so you can see how I do that. The one thing that I do want to point out is, you do you, but one of the things I like to do, so if you see the weep holes, that means that's the bottom right there. And what I like to do when I'm putting the butyl tape, I don't know that it really matters, but just my preference, I always start from the bottom and work up. And that way all of the laps are always rolling downstream from the top. The way this stuff bonds and seals together, it's probably not that important, but it's just one of those things I like to do. So anyway, I'm going to set the camera down and run through applying the butyl tape on this, and we'll get this thing in. The other thing that I will point out too is that I always like to put 2 layers. To me, one is just not enough, and I want to make sure I get good squeeze out when I'm putting this stuff on. It is really sticky, and it does form quite well and bends easy, so that's a bonus. always lap the seams over. Make sure that there's good contact. And roll it up the side. Probably can't see it on the camera. I'm going to do the other side here. Do the exact same thing I just did there. And hopefully I don't run out of butyl tape on this roll. Roll this around. It's always best to keep it up off until you get it where you want it, because otherwise it won't always come back up. Alright. When I was a kid working with my dad, long time ago, we used to do a lot of mobile home repair, and I've been using this stuff for a long time. This is what they would use to seal the windows on mobile homes. And that was a long time ago, folks. Alright, that side's done. So this stuff has been around for a minute, that's for sure. I'm sure the technology and stuff has improved over the years, but all the same stuff. I am not going to have enough tape on this roll to finish this window. That sucks. As you can see there, a generous lap over that previous seam. The same thing on all the other sides as well. Nope. Sorry folks, I'm going to have to pause this for a second, go get another roll of tape. I'll be right back. And in the blink of an eye, I'm back and ready to start again. And I just realized that I'm going to have to get more of this because the 4 windows that I've installed has used 2 rolls of this stuff, and now I'm on my last roll. So definitely going to have to do something about that. Definitely will not have enough to do my emergency exit windows with what I have. I might be able to get the other 2 that I have that are not as big, but looks like time to go to Amazon again. All right, butyl tape is on. So let me show you what I got going on here. So this is 2 layers. In some spots it's 3, maybe even more. All of my top side are all lapped over. All of my seams are overlapped as well. Everything is secure and tight. I've got a good thick layer of the butyl tape all the way around. When I put this in and start the compression with the flange, all of that stuff should squeeze out. As you saw earlier when I showed you the outside windows, it squeezes out quite nicely. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the outside. I'm going to put this up in the hole, push it down. I'm going to use my helper and lean my helper up against the window to hold it in place. Come back in here and we're going to see about putting that flange on and getting this thing locked down. All right, there it is. It's in place. You can see my helper out here helping me hold it in place. I'm going to start working on seeing what I can do to get that flange in and show you how that works. I'm going to try to put this in a position where you can see what I'm doing, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. Looks pretty good. One thing that I do want to show you is if you see this channel right here, that is where the screws from the flange go into and bite down. So I just wanted to share that with you real quick. And this thing comes with 2 sizes of screws. One is short, one is long. Not a single window that I've put in yet, and this is number 4, have I ever found a use case for the shorter screws. Not one. But anyway, so line this up. One of the things that I like to do to make sure that this is in the right place, because once it gets in there you can't really move it very well, is start a couple of screws without even remotely trying to tighten them down, so that I make sure that everything is going to line up. I also use my drill, not my impact, and I make sure that my drill is number 1 on slow speed and number 2 on a lower torque setting, because I do not want to strip these things out, either the head or the threads. Wrong Phillips bit. Thought I had the right one. Try this again. I am not going to lie, this is the hard part. Getting those screws lined up in that track that I showed you earlier. All right, number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Now we're cooking with gas. And that is why I do that. we go. Had a little bit of an alignment issue. It was kind of rising high. Wanted to make sure. All right, seems to be in good shape. Get them all started before I tighten anything down. One of the things I will tell you too is with regard to the butyl tape and the fact that it's so thick and stuff, one of the things that I do every day is come back in and check the torque on the screws and continue to pull them down tight. I use low torque setting because I don't want to strip anything out, but if they have any compression in the butyl tape, I'll be able to get more turns out of the screws and be able to tighten them up and help make sure I have a good seal. A couple more screws, folks, and then we'll tighten this thing down. Now once we start tightening it down, the instructions always say to start in the corners and work out from there, and I tend to follow that advice. To make sure those screws go in that channel, otherwise they won't do you any good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have got screws in every hole, so at this point I am going to slowly but surely walk my way around the window and just keep tightening everything down until everything is secure. Walk around one more time. I forgot to tell my helper to take a break because once these screws are in, this window ain't going anywhere. That screw might need to be replaced. Here you have it. Window is installed. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, but there it is. Real quick, I'm going to bring you in real close and show you though, but and of course I can't do it. I was going to open it up, but I can't get a good grip holding the hold the camera. So let's go outside and see what it looks like on the outside. Alright guys, so there it is. As you can see on this side, I've got really good squeeze out rolling through here. I'll get more as the sun beats it up and it warms up. Got good on the bottom. One of the things I'm noticing is seem to be a little loose on this side. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit and then come back and try to retighten those up. The other thing that I noticed that bothers me is that my holes are outside the flange area. They were supposed to be inside the flange area. I screwed that up, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. But looks like I got good squeeze out across the top as well. But this window is in. A little bit of maintenance on it to try to get it sealed up and closed up, but that's what it looks like. One of the things that I just noticed is going to create some serious problems for me. I'm going to have to figure it out. So these holes right here are the bottom of my rub rail. This hole right here is the hole mark line for the top of my rub rail, and the rub rail comes up higher than that. My rub rails are going to come right across this window. Oh man, always something. I'm gonna have to figure that out. At any rate, windows in. That's for another day. Well guys, unfortunately I don't have enough butyl tape to be able to take you on a journey for more windows. I will be coming back. I've got 2 emergency exits and 3 other windows to put in. I'm probably going to focus video on getting those emergency exit in and show you how the whole process works from beginning to end, from a flat plywood wall to having the window all the way in. So with that, I'm gonna close this out. It is actually Sunday, September the 1st. Holy cow, it's already Sunday. That reminds me, I need to start working on some things like getting diesel heaters in, because before I know it, it's going to start getting cold. Welcome to Virginia. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, please subscribe. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see. My next video, I've got a lot of really cool techie stuff going on, and I can't wait to start working on that. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing some preliminary work on it as soon as I shut this down. And then all day tomorrow, I'm going to be working on it. It's going to be awesome. So I will close this one out for now. Thank you for being here, and let's stay tuned for the next video.